Hello, everybody. Just been outside walking the Diva dog, and I guess it was more windy than I thought it was. But I wanted to come to you and share this special information because, people who are in my customer chats have asked this question and it has come up again. So I want to give you information you can use. So we're going to talk about why we need to read nutrition labels and how you read nutrition labels, as well as what are macros, because that is important. And I'm hoping that you will definitely get to understand why macros are important as we go along. So this is both keto and low carb friendly, but the information I'm about to give you right now is more specific to keto people, especially if you are trying to get into ketosis through nutritional ketosis. So ketosis is the process of um, burning fat for fuel instead of glycogen, turning glycogen into fuel source from carbs. So that is what we do as process of our standard American diet. We eat a ton of carbs, some proteins and some vegetables, but it's mostly um, simple carbs and things like that that we have in our standard American diet. So we are converting that from uh, the carbs to glycogen to energy fuel, and sometimes the excess is stored in our liver and our stomach and in our muscles. I'm sorry, in our liver and our muscles. Welcome, everybody who is hopping on. Facebook is not showing me who you are yet, but you can say hello. Put live in the comments if you're catching me live. If you're catching me on the replay, put I missed you. I miss you guys too. I love it when you're here live and we can interact. So it's not showing me who you are out there, but I know you're out there. Anyway, the foods that we eat are the answers to our goals. They are how we're going to get to a healthier lifestyle. I'm sure many of you have heard about food as medicine. It's very important what you eat for your brain health, for your body health. Dr. Amen has said that, you know, as we get more and more obese, our brain shrinks. That is the simple part of it, but we have a tendency to have poor eating habits when we are morbidly obese, which is the word that they use in health professions. And as a consequence of not taking in adequate nutrition and moving a lot, our brain shrinks. It doesn't work as well as it should. So, if we're trying to do nutritional ketosis, you need to be eating 70% fat from fish oils, especially omega 3, healthy monosaturated fats. That is your organic grass fed butter, that is your coconut oil, avocado oil, raw avocado and healthy saturated fats. You also want to be consuming about 15% of your diet from protein, high value protein. That would be pasteurized eggs, wild fish, grass fed meats, nuts, and some dairy. Also, staying away from meats that are cured or processed or have a lot of antibiotics and steroids in them. And then the carbs, approximately 15% of your diet should come from salad and veggies, non-starchy vegetables, spices and herbs, and from dairy as well. So again, yes, I threw in the spices because some spices have more carbs than others, which is another reason why we need to read the food label. I didn't bring any spices to show you as far as the food label. If you're going to be doing ketosis, we do not have to count calories. What we count instead is what we call macros. Macros are units of nutrients that we need to have. As I just told you, the fats, that's a macro. The carbs, that's a macro, and the protein, that is a macro. So we got the Trinity here. I know some of you who are from New Orleans, like I am, we think of the Trinity as something else for cooking. But this Trinity for ketosis, whether you're lazy keto, dirty keto, or strict keto, is 70% fat, 15% of your diet being from protein, high value protein, and 15% from um, good carbs like veggies, green leafy veggies, um, more complex carbs like spices and herbs and dairy. If you follow Dr. Lowry, who was talking at our keto conference a month or so ago, the high value proteins are very important for muscle growth, for brain health. So you don't want to get some, poor protein substitutions, especially those that are pasteurized and things like, especially those that are processed. You want to get the highest value proteins, again, as they outlined here, from pasteurized eggs, wild fish, grass-fed meat, nuts, and some dairy. Now, please also think about, for some of you who have some issues with, anemia and things like that, some of your wild-caught fish, which have more of a oxygenated supply, more of your red fish and things like that, may also be better for you, as well as things like steak, if you're a ketovore, things like ham and so on. So that's what you need to be looking for. The Trinity and macros, that's what we're going to be tracking on our food labels. So this is Parmesan Folio cheese wraps. I actually bought these at Publix. I know they're available at BJ's, but I don't think I found them there, or I had problems using them before. I did much better this time, but they're lactose free and gluten free. I have some issues with lactose, so it's good for me that they're lactose free. If you've been following me for the last couple of months, you know that I am having some allergy issues related to too much dairy, so I'm trying to be more strict on my dairy and limit my dairy. So according to this, you get 4 lightly baked sheets of cheese. You can make your own as well, but that's another story. That's a different live. If you would like some information about how you can make your own and where that recipe is, put make your own cheese wraps in the comments below. So this has no starch, no wheat, no flour or fillers. All good things. It also has no added sugars or additives. But that's on the front, folks. So we can't just take what's on the front as, word to God. You need to flip it over and read the food label right here. So you need to read that nutrition label, because advertisers have gotten really, really smart and savvy. They know what we're looking for. They know to put things like keto on there. They know to put things like, lactose free or low carb. But what you don't get is the real deal about what's actually in there. So this has 13 grams of protein according to the front and 1 gram of carb per sheet. So what's going on the back? You have 4 servings, because we have 4 sheets. So you have 4 servings of the cheese wrap, and 1 cheese wrap is 1.5 ounces. That's the serving size. That is 180 calories. As I told you before, you don't have to count calories if you're going by the macros. Now, generally, I don't worry about the fat macros. I do try to make sure that I'm getting enough fat in my diet, and I can tell when I'm not, because I don't burn as much fat when I do. Or when I'm getting too much, I stall out, because you don't want to use the nutritional fat in excess of what you have stored in your body, because that is ultimately what we want to burn, the fat in your body. But it has total fats of 13 grams, no saturated fat, no trans fat. Cholesterol is 45 milligrams, sodium is 390 milligrams, and 1 carbohydrate. So it is accurate about that. No dietary fiber, no sugar, no added sugars, and 13 grams of protein. I'm looking down in the bottom here for the rest of the ingredients, because sometimes the dirt is in the rest of the ingredients. So it says pasteurized cow's milk, salt, microbial enzymes, contains milk, but I guess they've taken the lactose out of the milk. So I didn't see any suspect ingredients like fillers and stuff like that. This is a good buy. I would take it home with me. This is dirty, because I don't have time all the time to shred some cheese. So this is, number one, it's also dirty because it's low moisture, part skim mozzarella cheese. You want to get the full fat, full milk mozzarella cheese, but this was all they had at Wally World when I went. So What's on the back label here? We have 16 servings per container. That is 1/4 of a cup. You always want to be sure what the serving size is. So it has total fat 5 grams, saturated fat 3 grams, no trans fat. You don't want any trans fat. If this is making sense so far, guys, raise your hand or say yes and let me know. If you have any questions, you can stop me and post them in there. Give StreamYard permission to post your comments to StreamYard, going to streamyard.com/Facebook, and I would so much appreciate that. So let's see, no added sugars, protein is 6 grams. We got to go to the ingredients. Okay, so on the back label, here's the other ingredient list. You can't just read this. You have to read the other stuff that they have to include here. So what we have is low moisture part skim mozzarella cheese, pasteurized part skim milk, cheese culture, salt, enzymes, potato starch. That is number 2 on the ingredient list. So they have a high amount of potato starch in this product. Potato starch is not one of our okay carbs. It is a no-no if you're trying to do strict nutritional ketosis. They have powdered cellulose, which in and of itself is pretty good, and then natamycin, which is a natural mold inhibitor. But the potato starch is the problem here. Now, if you have my little PTKs, maybe like me, you don't worry about this so much. It's not going to throw you out of ketosis. But if you're trying to do nutritional ketosis, don't pick up this bag of cheese. Shred your own cheese, especially if you're eating a lot of this to get your dairy and your fat in. That will slow you down or break your ketosis if you buy this product and use this product a lot. So I also got some green leafy vegetables. We have asparagus here. It's trimmed, washed, and ready to use. Nothing exciting or enticing on the front of the package. So the back of the nutrition label says the serving size is 3/4 of a cup, and you get 2 servings out of this, 2.5 servings. So again, we don't have to worry about calories. We're worried about the Holy Trinity here. So let's see, total fat 0. Not surprising, it's a vegetable. Cholesterol 0, sodium 0, total carbohydrates 3. Not concerned about this level of carbohydrates because you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck with 2.5 servings of this. This is what's going to help to fill you up. These are the good carbs from green leafy vegetables. Dietary fiber is 2, and total sugars is 2. That's a little iffy, but there's no added sugars. We'll go down to the ingredient list to see what those sugars are, but the total carbs are 3. We're going to subtract 2 dietary fibers from 3, so total carbs, net carbs is 1. I track net carbs, not total carbs, because it would make it very hard to be compliant. So my net carbs are 1 gram per serving. So it also lists the vitamins and minerals in here, but let's see what the rest of the ingredients list says. Just says asparagus. It doesn't have what those sugars are, so I can't tell how much of those sugars are in this. It may be the natural sugars that they preserve this with. I don't know. But it's only 2 grams of sugars. So it's up to you if this is going to throw you out or if you're going to be adding some other flavorings or seasonings to this that might put you over the edge for sugar, even sugar substitute or carbs. But this I would buy, and I would buy several times. I'm going to look at the label for mayonnaise. This is Blue Plate, which is what I usually buy. It's what I grew up on because mayonnaise is another one of those good fats for us to have, and I use it a lot in just about everything. So this has 60 servings per container. 1 serving is 1 tablespoon, 100 calories, and it's billed as real mayonnaise and having an excellent source of omega-3. So what does the survey say? Total fat, 11 grams. Remember, we want to get 70% of our from uh, dietary fat each day. So this 11 grams is going to be part of that dietary fat, unless you also make fat bombs or you do peanut butter or almond butter or nut butter, sunseed butter, those kinds of things. Or the butter that we talked about, the organic grass-fed butter, or cream cheese, or one of those things. So this one has 1.5 grams of saturated fat, no trans fat. We don't want any trans fat. It does have polyunsaturated fat of 6 grams. Um, Mono unsaturated fat is 2.5 grams. Cholesterol is 10 milligrams. That is, again, another discussion to talk about cholesterol and keto because of the increased fats. Sodium is 85 milligrams. If you have issues with your blood pressure, you might want to pay attention to those numbers, or make your own mayonnaise, which also have menu recipes for. So if you want a recipe for mayonnaise, put mayo in the comments below, and I will hook you up with that. Total carbs is 0. Dietary fiber, no sugars added. You always want to pay attention because sometimes they stick sugars in your mayonnaise. And let's see, that we have the usual minerals, D, iron, calcium, potassium. No hidden ingredients on this label. It has soybean oil, distilled vinegar, egg yolks, water, sugar. Well, why don't they include the sugar in there? It says total sugar 0, so it must be less than 1%. And it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ingredients down the list. Another indication that it's probably a very low amount. And again, they can't put 0% if it's not less than 1%. Calcium disodium, and to protect the flavor, and that's it. So again, less than 1% of sugar, I'm going to take that. And like I said, I've been doing this for over 2 years now, this time, and from 2007 to 2016. So I think that's about 9 years the first time. Not a problem with this mayo. So you guys know I do my little drinks. I'm in the process of having dinner right now with the salted caramel broth. But my up drink, my blue raz, I'm looking at the label, 35 calories, 1 can is a serving. Sugar alcohols are 2. Those you can use to look at your net carbs. I have 3 total carbs, dietary fiber of 2, sugar alcohol of 2. So that's 4. So it's less than 1 gram of net carbs based on taking out the sugar alcohol and taking out the dietary fiber. Hey, Eileen, thank you for sharing. I appreciate you. You guys, if you get some value out of this and know somebody else who's confused about macros and nutritional labels, please let me know. And when you share it out to them, I would appreciate it. I want everybody to get this information and have more confidence in how to work their way of eating. Um, just come back. So again, this has less than 1 gram of carbs, and it helps me stay in a ketosis and get into ketosis in 1 minute or less. And it tastes yummy, and it's a little bit of a sweet kick. Not that I need it as much anymore because I've pretty much broken my sugar habit. But for those of us who are trying to get into ketosis and stay into ketosis, sometimes that's our downfall, wanting more sweet treats and having a sweet tooth, or as somebody else told me, sweet teeth, because their sweet habit is really serious. Doing it that way with my little PTKs and my up drinks, that really helps you have room to wiggle with. You don't have to be as strict. You don't have to be as hard on yourself and disappointed in yourself because you have these tools. And it also makes it easier for you to get some variety in your diet, especially if you are, in our recipe group and following these tried and true recipes for families, for singles, for families with kids even. It makes it easier because the number one complaint I get from most people is that it is too hard or they get bored of the food available. You can have most foods you want. Even I will even try to ketofy some recipes for you, as I've ketofied some of my favorites, um, so that you can get better flavor, more taste, and get more nutritional bang for your buck because you're eating those high dollar, high value proteins and fats and green leafy carbs that will have you being more full in addition to the fats. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to ask any questions you might have. Um, I hope this was helpful for you. If you got some value out of it, put me a 10 in the comments below. And also, again, if you got value, somebody else probably got value out of it as well. Oh, it's so good. So let me know. And also, if you share it to their page or tag them into this, put shared in the comments below. Do not share this to strict keto groups because I did mention my rules. Thanks for the thumbs up. I so appreciate you, Leslie. All right. So again, the little tools make it possible for me to maintain what I lost in fat a year ago. I am 2 years on keto, lazy dirty keto, sometimes low carb. Um, this is what allows me to have a little bit of leeway, have a little fun all the time, and not being strict every single day. As Saturday, I had pasta, not keto pasta, but I also am capable of having keto friendly lasagna, keto friendly um, spaghetti, keto friendly. What did I do? It wasn't taquitos. Oh, it's another Mexican dish. Instead of rolling up the pasta, we used zucchini for it, and that was awesome. So when I think about it, I'll let you know. Just can't remember right now. Got to get the ketones kicking in again. So in nutritional ketosis, it can take a week to 2 weeks to get into ketosis. And again, everything can throw you out, not getting enough sleep, being stressed out, not reading the labels, and missing the hidden starches and the hidden sugars. That's why I want you to not only read the label. Well, let me do this one, it's easier. Not only do you need to read this part of the label with the percentages and stuff on it in the grams, but you need to read the fine print underneath with all of the ingredients to see what's in it. Because again, advertisers know how to draw your eye into the crucial bits, the sexy bits, keto, low carb, but it's not necessarily keto or low carb. I have gotten into trouble like that looking for crackers, and the crackers said keto on the box, and then they had like 25 grams of carbs. No way, no fiber, or if they had fiber, it might have only been 5 grams of fiber. That is not keto. And I didn't even get far enough to look at the sugars because once I figured out my net carbs, that's my whole day, y'all. 25 grams of carbs, and I'm going to do it for 3 crackers or 4 crackers? No way. No way. In the hidden starches, like I said, with the shredded cheese, if you don't shred your own, that is important to know. People are like, I'm doing the macros, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Why am I not losing? So if you are doing the right things and buying the right things, and you're not reading the labels and you have hidden starches, hidden carbs, hidden sugars, that's going to count against you and you're not going to get what you want. The other thing is if you are still doing the macros at the percentages that are recommended, but you are doing huge portion sizes, that's why I want you to pay attention to what a serving size is. It doesn't do any good to get something and it says 80 calories per serving, and now you've eaten 2 or 3 servings. Do you see how that works? So now you have 240 calories just with I don't know, your cup of coffee in the morning, your high octane, super fruity, super, add this, add that, complicated mix of coffee at the coffee shop is a meal. And then you wonder why, even though you put in, I don't know, maybe you put in coconut milk, maybe you put in cashew milk, maybe you put in um, almond milk, but you put in all those other things, and especially things that have sweeteners like NutraSweet or Splenda, they will still spike your blood sugar if you have too much of them in everything. That's why we stick to sweeteners like monk fruit and pure and swerve, because they're less likely to spike your blood sugar and they still taste sweet. So be aware of that, where you could be shooting yourself in the foot. But read the labels, folks. Read the labels, folks. Read the labels. Concentrate on your macros so you don't have to count the calories. I guarantee you will be full if you're getting the macros the way that it is suggested, because having a high volume of fat is going to make you feel fuller. If your carbs are fibrous carbs, like your fresh leafy vegetables, not your starchy vegetables, not your vegetables that come from in the ground, then you're more likely to feel full and feel satisfied. So I hope this was helpful for you. I will see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening. Are you serious?